Hi, everyone. Thank you for attending today's demonstration on how to navigate to OG's public financial disclosure resources. I'm Courtney Heipel, one of OG's desk officers, and I'm joined by one of our training instructors, Megan Kunkel. Anna Wheeler, another OG training instructor, is serving as our producer today. She'll be monitoring the chat and addressing any technical issues that may arise. Many thanks, Anna. Before we get started, we want to note that this demo is being recorded and your microphones and cameras are currently disabled. If you have questions about what's being presented or you would like us to repeat certain steps, please use the chat feature to communicate those requests to us. Remember, today's demo was designed to show you where to locate useful 278 resources. We are not here to discuss specific questions about 278 reports. Those questions should be directed to ethics officials within your agency or to your OG desk officer as appropriate. You may also consider attending some of our upcoming live trainings where we will discuss entries on 278 reports. We will tell you more about these other learning opportunities during today's demo. Public financial disclosure is one of the primary tools used to facilitate transparency and detect and prevent conflict of interest in the executive branch. OG supports agencies' public financial disclosure programs by creating and maintaining resources to help you develop the skills of new reviewers, hone your own skills, support your filers, and navigate the filing season effectively. We hope today's demo will have you more familiar with OG's website to locate these resources on your own and perhaps also introduce you to new ones that will help you this 278 season. OG's website is located at www.oge.gov, and it has a wealth of information to help you carry out your role as an ethics official. We will start with an overview of the homepage and how to search for and locate relevant 278 resources from there. Once we have covered OG's website, we will take you to our Institute for Ethics in Government, or IAG website, and show you some tips and tricks to utilize its resources as well. You can see from the homepage that OG has multiple tabs at the top to assist you in your search for resources. To help reduce the number of clicks it takes to access content, you can see all the subpages contained in each tab by simply clicking on it. For purposes of today's demo, we're going to focus on the tabs Resources for Ethics Officials and Resources for Federal Employees. But before we delve into that, we want to make sure that you're aware of OG's 2025 calendar. If you scroll down to the bottom of the homepage, you will see a blue box that says 2025 Dates and Deadlines PDF. When you click on it, it will download the PDF for you to open. This calendar identifies key deadlines for executive branch ethics programs, and it's especially helpful for reminders related to the 2025 public financial disclosure season. You can save this PDF to your computers for easy access in the future. Now I'm going to pass things over to Megan.
Hey, good afternoon, everyone. Just to double check, if you can give some thumbs up that you can see the screen that we are sharing. You should be able to see our web page. Okay, I see some thumbs up.
All right.
Okay, good. Just double checking. You never know. And if you're not seeing it, you might want to try leaving and rejoining us. That might help. All right, so thank you very much, Courtney. We will start in the Resources for Ethics Officials tab. Now, this whole tab was designed for you and is organized around managing effective ethics programs. So first, we're going to look at how these pages are structured, and we'll look at the financial disclosure page as an example. So most pages in this tab have the following or similar contents. So a summary of the purpose of the ethics program element being addressed up at the very top, an overview of the designated agency ethics official's responsibility to carry out that program element, citations to key legal authorities, references to key legal advisories and/or resources related to the program element, and finally, towards the very bottom, a list of practices that agencies have found effective in managing their ethics program for this specific element. So let's return to the top and take a closer look at this page.
Just getting a little slowly coming up.
No worries, we'll get there. It is a long page, lots of resources available.
A lot to go through.
All right, so on the financial disclosure page, if you scroll down a little bit, Courtney, to the key legal authorities section.
Yeah.
Okay, right there.
Sorry, it keeps. Sorry about that, everyone. It's giving me. There we go.
There we go. Yeah. So under key legal authorities, there's a quick link to view the executive branch financial disclosure requirement. Directly to it. We also want to highlight the program advisory listed under key advisories. That's PA 2501. This PA is published and placed here each year to provide filing deadlines for annual public financial disclosure reports and procedures for the reports that are required to be transmitted to OGE. So again, similar to the calendar, if you click on that link, it will go to your downloads folder. Also on the financial disclosure page, you will find resources. You'll find them for both public and confidential. Of course, today we're focused on the public financial disclosure resources. Now, as a reminder, our website will have the most current versions of these resources. So if you have downloaded some of these to your computers during previous filing seasons for ease of reference, please do double check that you have the most current versions that you are referring to. Our resources listed under this section are divided into two categories. First, filing, and second, guidance. So under filing, you will see primarily our integrity resources. First, there's a direct link to OGE's electronic filing system integrity. Next is a PDF of the integrity user guide. And then there's a link to the integrity user resources, which we're actually going to click this open to show you more. Courtney's clicking on that now. And this contains additional guides and job aids and a link to the integrity news page.
It's just thinking.
Oh, it's the tab up at the top.
Right.
So this one is a different one. It'll open in a different page. Yeah, and I was going to remark that this is actually hosted on box.com. So when you click to these integrity pages, you may get that pop-up box. Just X out of it. You're in the right place. So this page shows you up at the top this integrity news page. And the integrity news page provides information integrity users need to know, such as recent system updates and links to other helpful tools and resources. And specifically, these resources include opportunities to attend upcoming integrity training events and to access training materials. So we wanted to point out that there is an upcoming integrity webinar on May 14. So if you are new to integrity or you would like a refresher, this is a great place to go for some refresher training. Okay, so back on the financial disclosure page, for those who cannot file an electronic filing system, so anyone who's not using integrity, and this isn't common, but if you do need them, we have Excel versions and PDF versions of both the public financial disclosure report and the periodic transaction report. Okay, now under guidance, the first resource we have listed here is one that we always recommend that you have open as you're reviewing public financial disclosure reports, and that is the Public Financial Disclosure Guide. It can be viewed either in HTML or as a PDF. However, we want to note that the PDF version is being phased out and that the HTML version is the most current. So if you've been referring to a PDF version saved on your computer, you might want to start, or you should start to review this this form of the guide, as it will be the most up-to-date. And we will navigate to that version here. So Courtney's got that on the screen. And this guide is an interactive tool to assist in the administration and review of public financial disclosure reports. It offers helpful instructions, illustrations of sample language, definitions of terms, and plain language answers to frequently asked questions. To the left, as Courtney is scrolling, you will see there's a table of contents, and you can navigate the guide from there depending on your needs. Within the guide is a section for comprehensive guidance geared towards ethics officials. And to view this section, which is called the For Ethics Officials section, you can select it from that table of contents. Again, here you will find information regarding public financial disclosure that is more relevant to you as ethics officials. For example, you'll see towards the middle there extensions and late filing fees. So if you're looking for information like that, it would be found on this page. Also, if you are used to using the PDF version of the guide and you do not see something mentioned in the HTML version, particularly when you're scrolling through the table of contents, I'd recommend going to the For Ethics Officials section first to see if it's been included there. Right, so let's click back to the financial disclosure page. And before we move on to the next resource, we do want to flag that there is a much faster way to navigate to that For Ethics Officials section, and that would be in the summary here. You can find that direct link. And we also recommend bookmarking the guide and or this section in your web browser for greater ease of access, even if it's just during this busy filing season. Right, next on the list, you will see a one-page resource called What to Gather Before You Start Your Public Financial Disclosure Report. And this PDF provides a list of documents and information to help filers gather their financial information before starting a 278. And when you click on the PDF, it will download for you to open. And as you can see here on the screen, this may be a helpful resource to provide your annual filers as a reminder of what they will need to have handy to file their next 278. So this might be something you would want to send earlier on in the season. But if you do have some folks who have not yet submitted and they're preparing to, this would be a great resource to provide them. The next resource is a link to filer aids that may also be helpful to provide your annual filers. Now, this link will actually take you to our Resources for Financial Disclosure Filers page, which is under another tab. Courtney will go into further detail about the contents of this page later on in today's demo, but the filer aids referred to are towards the middle of the page. So Courtney has those pulled up now, and they explain the reporting requirements for periodic transaction reports, sector funds, 529 plans, and retirement plans. Back on the financial disclosure page and below the filer aids, there are 3 resources specifically designed to support the 278 process for nominees to presidentially appointed Senate confirmed PAS positions. There's the guide for nominees, the PAS nominee ethics agreement guide, and the nominee public financial disclosure review checklists. Now, of course, at the moment, we are more focused on the resources for the annual filing season. But if you do have nominees, we want to make sure you know these resources exist and are available to you. And if you have reports filed by those in PAS positions, the quick guide to PAS reports OGE reviews can help you determine whether those reports are subject to review by OGE. The final resource is a link to our Public Financial Disclosure Review curriculum, which brings together training videos and OGE resources to educate ethics officials on how to review 278s. I will discuss this resource as well as other trainings available on our Institute for Ethics and Government's on-demand library later on in today's demo. Further down on this page, so in our Other Resources section, you'll see some resources on certificates of divestiture, and this is in case you have eligible employees that would like to request them. And then again, at the very bottom of these pages, you'll find agency practices. Some of the practices listed may prove helpful for you and your team to consider implementing now or in future filing seasons. And some examples that we pulled out towards the middle would be, using a checklist in the review process to spot critical, recurring, substantive, and technical issues, sending an acknowledgement to financial disclosure filers upon completion of the review and certification. I always found that this was helpful to do even if the system you're using sends an automatic notification. It's nice to get an email from an actual person. And craft a personalized guidance memo for each filer that includes ethics advice on potential issues regarding their holdings. And another practice we are considering adding to this list is to ask your filers to provide ticker symbols for their assets, especially mutual funds. Though it is not required per the guide, this practice can really help facilitate the work of reviewers, and it reduces that amount of back and forth with filers, which I'm sure they will appreciate just as much as you will. All right, so now we're going to navigate to the conflicts analysis and resolution page. Now we can use the return to top link as Courtney did to get to the top of this page. And then we could select this page from the Resources for Ethics Officials tab. Or since we're already in this tab, we can use the navigation panel on the left-hand side of the screen. So now that we're on this page, let's scroll down to its resources section. And there you will see links to resources and their descriptions. And we would like to highlight the first resource listed, so analyzing potential conflicts of interest. Now this page contains a series of guidance documents that provides conflicts analyses for various types of employment interests, investment interests, and liabilities. It is helpful to use this page alongside the Public Financial Disclosure Guide. So for example, when reviewing an asset on a 278, you can first look to the guide to ensure it is reported correctly and thoroughly, and then look to these pages for how to analyze for potential conflicts of interest. So let's go back one more time. There we go. So you'll notice on this page that there is also a link to the Legal Research Search Collection. We're going to discuss this in detail next, but we want to remind you, especially because as we're going through this, this is a lot to remember, like lots of steps. So we just want to remind you that there are different ways to locate information on OGE's website. We've built in these redundancies. So hopefully if you're, considering what you're looking for, there'll be ways that you can almost stumble upon it in different places. And this is further exemplified by the inclusion of the PAS Nominee Ethics Agreement Guide, which is listed here, but it was also on that previous page that we looked at together. Right, so before we move on to the next resources, Anna, have we received any questions in the chat?
No questions so far.
Thank you.
Thank you, Anna. Now let's navigate to OGE's Legal Research Search Collection to locate legal advisories. There are several ways to do so. One way is to use the navigation panel on the left-hand side of the screen. But remember, this panel is only visible if you're already on a page located within the Resources for Ethics Official tab. Another is to click on the Resources for Ethics Official tab. Then select the red button that says Conduct Legal Research. A third way is to click the View All in Resources for Ethics Official link at the bottom of the Resources for Ethics Official tab. Links to the collection will be on the left-hand side of the screen and in the center via the blue Conduct Legal Research button. If you have any questions about how to use this collection, you can view the links under Using this collection, which is located to the right of the search bar and includes helpful information on the contents of the collection, as well as video demonstrations on how to use it. You can also click on Search Tips, which is located beneath the search bar. Doing so will reveal brief descriptions of the 4 main ways to locate information in the collection and a mechanism for getting advice on which method may be best for you. OG uses 4 filters to categorize the contents of this collection. The documents are categorized by their type, topic, agency, and date. These filters can help you limit your search if you're looking for something specific. For example, let's type public into the search bar for topic of the topic filter. This shows that there are 202 documents tagged as being related to public financial disclosure. You can click on this result in the filter. To narrow your search to only show OG's legal advisories, you can go to the type filter and click on legal advisories. This shows that there are 122 legal advisories related to public financial disclosure. When you scroll down the page, you will see a table displaying these search results. Note, the results are currently shown chronologically, with the most recently published documents at the top. To change how the results are presented, you can click on the table headers. For example, Megan, please click on the date header to reverse the order. Using the filters is helpful when you're looking for a specific document type, such as a legal advisory. However, if you're searching the collection to retrieve a specific document that you know the title of, you can type it in the search bar just above the agency column of the table containing the search results. This is the quickest way to retrieve a specific document. Let's try it out. Megan, please clear your filters and erase what we previously typed. Then search for LA-24-04 using the search bar. LA-24-04 highlights the potential conflicts of interest risks and financial disclosure reporting challenges for employees who invest in managed accounts, including those managed by robo-advisors. When you have found what you are looking for, you can click on the title of the document in the table, and it will download it as a PDF for you to view. These are just a couple of ways to navigate this collection. Remember, there are helpful resources to consult on how to use it, and the more you do, the more familiar and helpful it will become to you. Before we leave the OG homepage to look at the IAG website, let's click on the tab Resources for Federal Employees. Here you will see links to the following pages: Agency Ethics Program contact information, resources related to the Legal Expense Fund, Standards of Ethical Conduct for Employees of the Executive Branch, which provides the ethics, laws, and regulations that apply to all employees of the Executive Branch, and resources for financial disclosure filers. This is the page we'll navigate to now. We are showing you this page so that you can share these OG resources with your filer. Please note that, like the financial disclosure page for ethics officials presented earlier, it contains information for both public and confidential filers, so you'll need to scroll to the appropriate section. As you can see in the public financial disclosure filer section, there are many of the same materials here that we saw in the resources for ethics official tab. For example, this section will give your filers access to Integrity, different versions of the 278 report, a link to the Public Financial Disclosure Guide, and the What to Gather Before You Start Your Public Financial Disclosure Report resource. Below these resources, you will find the filer aids Megan pointed out earlier. There are 6, but for the purposes of today's discussion, we'd like to specifically point out those related to sector funds, reporting 529 plans, and reporting retirement plans on the annual Public Financial Disclosure Report. As you can see, these filer aids provide useful and helpful details to filers about what they are being asked to report and how they should report it. And they may prove more approachable to filers than searching through the larger Public Financial Disclosure Guide themselves. The filer aid on periodic transaction reports may also be helpful to provide your annual filers as a reminder of this additional requirement that goes beyond the filing season. Okay, we'll click back. Below the filer aids, you will see a Certificate of Divestiture fact sheet, which summarizes the key elements of the program, including eligibility requirements, instructions on how employees can request a certificate of divestiture, and what to do after one is issued. If you happen to be doing nominee work, this page also has helpful resources for nominees, such as the Nominee Public Financial Disclosure Review Checklist mentioned earlier, and a one-page resource, Nominee Process Tips. Remember, this page is specifically designed for filers. You can provide links to these resources in your trainings and other communications with them. We're now going to navigate to the IAG website from OGEs. First, click Return to Top. Then select the Resources for Ethics Official tab. You could click the View All and Resources for Ethics Official link at the bottom of the tab, and similar to the Legal Research Search Collection, links to the IAG website would be on the left-hand side of the screen and in the center via the blue View IAG Trainings button. However, a faster route is to click the red button within the tab that says Visit the Institute for Ethics in Government. Click it and you will enter the IAG website. Before we move on, we're going to pause again for questions. Anna, have we received any?
No questions at this time.
Thank you, Anna. So we first want to note that the IAG website is getting a refresh. So what you're seeing on the screen will soon look a bit different. The aim is to improve user experience to make it easier for ethics officials to access the information and trainings they need to perform their jobs and train new colleagues. The result of the refresh, which we are calling IAG 3.0, is set to launch in May. And because of these upcoming changes, we will focus primarily on locating the specific 278 training resources we wish to highlight for your use, and less on how to navigate the current IAG website for other relevant resources. But we will note that when the IAG 3.0 launches, we will provide information on how best to navigate it. So the first of these resources can be found in the quarterly schedule, and that's on the left-hand side here, which lists all the IAG's upcoming live offerings and links to register for them once available. As you can see, today's demo is listed here, and we also have a handful of spots still available in our peer-to-peer workshops on public financial disclosure next week. These P2P workshops will allow public financial disclosure program managers and reviewers from throughout the executive branch to meet in small groups to identify challenges faced in administering the public financial disclosure program and to share resources and strategies they have found beneficial. We would also like to raise your awareness of our larger how-to sessions for novice reviewers on analyzing unfamiliar and/or challenging entries in annual OGE Form 278s. These will be held on May 22nd and June 5th. And during these how-to sessions, we will demonstrate how we analyze specific entries on annual reports. Please stay tuned for the OGE listserv announcement that will be sending out the registration for these sessions, or you could return to this page in the coming weeks to register from the link that will be provided in this table. And in the meantime, if you have unfamiliar and/or challenging entries you would like to submit to perhaps be analyzed at an upcoming how-to session, you can use the survey link here, and Courtney's hovering over that. It's Submit Your Entries. If you click on that, it will take you to a survey where you can submit your entries anonymously. All right, so let's click Return to Home. And let's look at what we have available in the on-demand library. So currently there is a table to the left that allows you to select different options to narrow your search of the on-demand library. But since these search options will soon change, we are going to instead rely on the Control F function to search for trainings on public financial disclosure. And this is just such a great search function for so many things. But this function searches among the words found on the page, and that's important to note. So because of that, you may need to try various keywords to make sure you're seeing all that is available, because it's going to be searching for what we title some of these trainings as. And just to exemplify this, Courtney, please type in 278. Okay, that produces 0 results, but you know we definitely have trainings on 278s in our library. So if that doesn't work, you might want to try a different keyword, and Courtney's typing in public. Let's just type in, oh, it's because the L and the C are switched. So if you just reverse a little bit. There we go. All right, so that already produces, right, public financing already gives you 12 search results. So again, you might want to try some different keywords when you're searching this way. And you can use the arrows in the search bar in the right-hand corner of your screen to search through the page. Or if you scroll, you'll see that the keywords are highlighted. So one of the trainings that we wish to highlight is the Public Financial Disclosure Curriculum page. And to access it, you just click on its title. Now, our curricula are great places to start studying or reviewing certain parts of the ethics program. So we do have these on other topics. This one includes videos to learn about and practice public financial disclosure review. And under the course materials, so on the right-hand side of the screen, we'd like to point out the resources for conducting substantive legal review of 278E document. And if you click on that, it will open. We're going to open that for you now. It contains various other resources on topics that our filers are required to submit information on. So you'll see trainings such as web guides, job aids, and videos themselves on assets and income, liabilities, outside positions, agreements or arrangements, and gifts and travel reimbursements. So those are some deeper dive materials on the specific content of the reports that you're reviewing. Also under the course materials is a PDF of the listserv we sent a couple of weeks ago. We wanted to let this live somewhere in our library because we know that you all are probably getting lots of emails, and sometimes those listserv announcements can become buried. So we pulled that one out here for you, and it contains a list of our upcoming live offerings, as well as direct links to existing 278 resources, many of which we are covering in this demo. Right, so let's go back to the on-demand library, and we're going to search for another training using Control F. Okay, so there's one other training we want to highlight for you, and that is primarily because it covers a topic that proves quite challenging for both filers and reviewers, and that is reporting and analyzing trusts. To search the on-demand library for this training, you could broaden your search to just financial disclosure, but you'll see here you get 61 trainings to filter through. So we know we're looking for training on trusts, so we can narrow our search and just search trusts. And that makes it much easier. We've got the one training listed here, Trusts, Financial Disclosure, and Conflicts Analysis. Now, this training provides an overview of the basics needed to discuss trust interests with employees. It also addresses the reporting and conflicts implications of various interests in trusts, as well as different types of trusts. And finally, this training outlines several ways for resolving conflicts arising from trust interests. Okay, so let's return to the home page for the IEG. Now, we understand that some agencies have different security restrictions, and in some places they have blocked the viewing of the training videos from our course pages. But but we've actually tried to troubleshoot this, and we've provided a direct link to our YouTube channel, which is actually where we publish all of our training videos that are contained within the library. So if you're not able to access a video on the course page, you could search for it here on our YouTube channel. To search our channel for training videos on financial disclosure, you can first try playlists. And if you scroll down, you'll see that there's a playlist on financial disclosure topics, and we have about 18 videos there. Now, this does include it's financial disclosure broadly, so it might include some trainings on confidential financial disclosure as well. If you want to search another way, you could use the magnifying glass in the center there, and Courtney's got that open to search. If you type in public or public financial disclosure and hit enter, that will also produce results for you to look through and find the training that really is getting at what you're trying to learn more about. Back on our IUG homepage, of course, we haven't covered all of OGE's resources in the IUG On Demand library. As you saw when Courtney was scrolling through earlier, there's a lot on there, but we hope you now have a better understanding of the types of trainings and job aids it contains and how to access them. We're going to go back to the OGE homepage, as there is one last tip that we would like to leave you with. Now, earlier I mentioned how we built in some redundancies so that you can find something that you're looking for in various places on our website. But if you cannot recall exactly how we got to some of those resources today, or you get to our homepage, you see up in the top right-hand corner, this search bar, you can give that a try. You can type in either 278 or public financial disclosure. Either one would give you this box at the top. So we've filtered this to recommend certain resources depending on what you type in. So if you type in 278 or public, it's going to pull up the section recommended by OGE, and it will list out many of the resources in the pages we talked about today. For example, the resources for financial disclosure filers page, the public financial disclosure review curriculum, and more.
As you can see from today's demo, OGE offers a vast array of 278 resources for you and your filers and multiple ways for you to locate them. We recommend that you take some time on your own to explore the OGE website as well as the IUG website to find what navigational methods and resources work best for you. We have time remaining to respond to questions. Anna, are there any in the chat that we have yet to address? Also, if you have a new question to raise, please feel free to either use the chat or raise your hand to come off of mute.